to a press conference happening right now at the top of the hour. We told you about a deadly shooting at a McDonald's. Let's listen in.
Encountered the victim with a gunshot wound to her body. She was transported to Grady Hospital and succumbed to her injuries. While on scene, we spoke to witnesses and persons who were at the restaurant, and we had a female detained as well. According to the witnesses, the female detained was involved in a shooting incident. Currently, witnesses and that person of interest is being interviewed at the police headquarters as we speak. We're working with the business as well to secure surveillance footage to assist with the investigation. At this time, no, we don't believe there were just adults inside of the business. It seems like the motive appears to be an escalating dispute between customers. None of the involved parties are employees of the business. So the victim is believed to be between 30 and 35 years old, and the suspect between 20 and 25 years old.
How did they detain the shooter? Who did that? Was it police or the people?
No, these were folks that were inside of the restaurant that saw what happened. Some concerned citizens that held this person and detained until officers arrived on scene.
The people?
Correct.
Wow. How many were they in for?
There was one woman shooting another woman?
It appears, yes, there's one, the victim is a female and so is the suspect. There was a dispute inside of the restaurant, and one person was shot once, and the victim was shot once. It appears, yes, it's heading in that direction. She is a suspect for it.
All right. Two more questions, please, from me. Do you know if there was any relationship between the victim and the suspect?
You have been listening in to the Atlanta Police Department giving an update on a now fatal shooting at a McDonald's on the West End there. We just heard him talking about how it sounded like there was a dispute in between two customers inside the McDonald's, no employees involved. Two women. One woman shot another woman one time. That woman was pronounced dead, and it sounds like other customers inside that witnessed this dispute actually held that person down until police arrived and made that arrest.
Yeah, certainly a tragedy this afternoon.